So let's start the conversation there. Does he deserve to be cut some slack if his answers aren't as we expect them to be in Washington? And just a really bad week or a tipping point?
On something like abortion, it's hard to cut Donald Trump a lot of slack because when you talk to his, particularly on the right and the left, these are deeply held beliefs. This isn't something that you look at a political calculation a lot of the times. I mean, what he did was actually remarkable. He united the right and the left against him on abortion. I don't think I've ever seen that.
But let's go through it, because that's why a lot of people think this is different, because this is self-inflicted from Donald Trump. Over the course of the campaign, he has proven time and time again, if he has a bad debate or if he has a bad news cycle, he can change the conversation, he can drive the conversation, he can move it to something more favorable ground. That's what he's been unable to do the past week or so, in part because of the conversation. It started with Chris Matthews on MSNBC, when Chris Matthews said, okay, you have said you would like to make abortion illegal. If you do that, if the law says it's illegal, what's the punishment?
The churches make their moral judgments, but you running for president of the United States will be chief executive of the United States. Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
10 cents, 10 years,
I don't know. That I don't know.
Now that got Mr. Trump in a little bit of heat. His campaign relatively quickly put out a statement trying to clarify by saying the issue is unclear, should be left to the states for determination. He said, like Ronald Reagan, I'm now pro-life with exceptions. Still, Mr. Trump there did not answer the question of, as he said in the town hall, the woman should be punished. So then another statement a little bit later trying to clean this up, saying if Congress were to pass legislation making abortion illegal, the key part is here, the provider would be held responsible. The woman is a victim in this case. Now that, to your point, he united the right and the left. Even the most of the most fervent anti-abortion forces do not say punish the woman. They say punish the doctor or the provider.
And it's clear, as Jackie said, I mean, this is not something that you sort of, see how the winds are blowing. You know what your view on abortion is. And you could just see the momentary freeze there when Chris Matthews asked that question as he was thinking, how do I answer this? And the reason is Donald Trump has, in fact, been all over the map on abortion. He has supported abortion rights in other interviews, including one on CNN years ago with Wolf Blitzer. He has been on other sides of this. So he tried to push back on our friend Mr. Matthews there, who's Catholic and pro-choice. And it was clear that Chris had thought about this, but he clearly had not thought about this. So I think this is a different moment for Donald Trump. I think in part because it's coming at the time so much of this has come before him, and Republicans, some of them are being fed up. But also Wisconsin. I was in Wisconsin this past week. Talk radio there is not his friend. Conservative talk radio is not his friend. The forces aligning against him are strong and big. And Ted Cruz, I expect to have a very strong night on Tuesday.
And you mentioned the talk radio. Inside the state of Wisconsin, it's quite a vibrant industry. And also nationally, Rush Limbaugh among those saying, sorry, Mr. Trump, I defend you a lot, but this is Republican 101.
Right.
George H.W. Bush changed his position. Mitt Romney changed his position. You can change your position on abortion as long as you can explain why.
Right.
And being unprepared at this point in the campaign is what has everybody thinking, whoa, right?
Yeah, and you know, we focus on the abortion issue in this country. I think the rest of the world is quite stunned by what he also had to say this week about nuclear weapons. Right. You know, the idea that Japan and South Korea should start nuclearizing, the idea that he might consider using nuclear weapons against Europe, doesn't want to take anything off the table. That's what caused the other pillar of the Republican Party to really, again, take pause this week at what he was doing and why he rushed into those meetings with his foreign policy team by the end of the week.
Because, right, uncharacteristically quiet for a couple of days.
Because they understood that he, once again, had sort of stepped on it.